Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Annette Dernick, and I have to pronounce it German in the German way because she's from Germany, as I am. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Karen. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be here.
That sounds fantastic. And of course, I would like to introduce you to the audience. You are an expert for love and peace in companies. You are a speaker, coach, and an author as well. Companies thrive with the culture of appreciation and peace, and everyone benefits owners, leaders, employees, customers, and the world around of more peace and business relationships. Please tell us what inspired you to do this what you are doing.
Oh, it was kind of an inner feeling, maybe also an inner calling. I've always known that peace was and is very important for me. And only some years ago, I had the opportunity to learn why this is so. And so to just tell it very briefly on a
Oh, now something happened to your sound. Your sound disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Is it back again now?
Yes, it's back.
Okay, it's possible. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, was kind of interfering.
Oh, no problem.
It's the sound was on my iPhone. So yes, but nothing happens. Nothing. It's not a coincidence. It has to do with my story because I also was disconnected from the world for some time, and in those clinics, I learned that I had a complex PTSD, which was already happened in my very early childhood, and this had to do with experiences of my parents during World War II. And so then I knew, or now I know, why peace is so important for me. I've been working in several companies and also with several companies as a speaker and coach, as you already mentioned. And my experience is that in companies, we have wars as well. It's not only on the battlefield, it's in companies as well. Sometimes people try to get rid of people, and I don't have to repeat all the things. And so now I know that my mission really is to support those people who want to. And that's very important for me to just support those people who really want to bring the company to the next level and to bring it to a level where they live a peaceful and appreciative life in their company. And the benefit is that it attracts a lot of employees. And as you are also from Germany, you know that at present in Germany, it's really difficult to find skilled people. And for me, that's just a sign that in these times of transformation, the old system with the hierarchies, it isn't valid any longer. And we're now stepping in a new time. And in this new time,
Oh, your sound disappeared.
again,
Mhm.
okay, I
Now
don't
it's
know what
back.
that is. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh,
And so in the new era, it will be more about love, even though I know that the word love and companies, so many people, it doesn't go together. And at the same time, that's really what I'm convinced of and what I'm doing every day to work with company leaders to support them to establish this new way of thinking in their companies.
oh, I love what you shared. Thank you so much. And I also am happy that I asked the question because it was not on my list to ask you this, of course. But but it makes sense what you told me about your parents and witnessing things in World War II. And we have this paradigm, let's say, this experiences or history, and it makes totally sense that you are working on peace. So I was not questioning it enough for myself in the forefront, so to say, because peace, okay, peace, we all want peace, but what's the context behind? And thank you so much for sharing. And now I I have another question for you. Of course, how do you define a culture of appreciation and peace within a company, and what impact does it have on overall business performance?
Yeah, so the first thing is what I do not mean is this atmosphere of, okay, we are all so nice and we love each other. That's not what I mean. Peace and appreciation means that we all have the same worth. And I very much love one line in the song of Bon Jovi, remember you're perfect, God makes no mistakes. So if
Yes.
I hope you
You
can hear me again. It's my iPhone interfere, even though I've already turned it off. So if I, as a CEO, if I really value each of my employees with his or her specialities, with the expertise, then we have this atmosphere of love and appreciation. And it doesn't mean either that there are no conflicts. The conflicts are not the problem. The question is, how are we solving these conflicts? And if we really appreciate each other, then we also have the desire to solve these conflicts, because conflicts only show that there is, let's say, a mismatch between opinions. And when we have solved the conflicts, then we are on the same level with opinions. And the benefit really is that fluctuation declines considerably, and all the knowledge of the employee stays in the company. And I think we all know the words of, let's say, quiet quitting, and that people are only working 9 till 5 to earn the money. These things diminish, and people are really, they are committed, they are creative, they are productive, they really love to go with their heart the extra mile, and not only because the boss told them. And I also very much love the term heart to heart communication. In business we talk about B2B, B2C, and so on. For me it's really heart to heart. And it's not only the fluctuation that declines, also the sick days. Because when people are really motivated, when they love to work there, it's no longer a burden. It's really a time of joy. And yeah, sometimes when I talk about companies, to talk about joy and to really have fun while working, it sounds a little bit contradictory. And at the same time, that's now the new thing that's going to happen. So if I have such motivated people, then my costs decrease. And where do we buy as clients? Well, where do we love to buy from? From employees who are committed and who really see me as a person, not only as somebody bringing turnover, but somebody ready to serve. My needs are fulfilled. And so costs decrease, turnover increases, and everybody knows this means more for profit. And not only for the CEOs, but the whole company benefits from this attitude. Even the families of these employees, because when these employees come home in the evening, they are not frustrated. And I remember those times when I came home in the evening, I was lamenting about the things that had happened in the company. No, when these employees, when they come home, they really, they tell the family, oh, we have resolved a problem, we found a new customer, we have created a new product, we have been very successful. And can you imagine how this evening will start with such an atmosphere?
Wow. That's great what you mentioned. Thank you so much for sharing. And I recognized myself as well in it in my working years, so to say, when I was really frustrated and I didn't know why. So now I explore the the reasons, and also what you mentioned, it matches perfect my perception as well. And I love that you help companies to create such an environment. And also I think you didn't mention it, but it's between the lines that no one gets excluded. So in a culture of appreciation, you don't feel excluded, and so you don't have to quit silently, as you mentioned. Yet you don't. There's no need. You can stay and you can be happy all the time. So let's see my next question, if this makes us happy. In your experience, what are the most common challenges companies face when trying to cultivate a peaceful and appreciative workplace culture, and how can they overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, the first thing to know is that everything starts with me. And so I'm always touching my nose. And if I am, as a CEO, if I'm still a person who loves these old hierarchies, then it will be very, very difficult to change. When I realize that I can change my thoughts, I can change my behavior, I can change the results of everything that I do, and when I'm really peaceful with myself inside, that's where it starts. So it really starts with if we look in the mirror in the morning, is it a grumpy face thinking, oh, which idiots might I meet today? Or is it, oh, it's going to be another great day and I'm very much looking forward to meeting my staff and my team. And so let's go for it. Let's see what we can do to change the world to satisfy the needs of our customers. That's a completely different attitude. And that's why I love to work with CEOs to really support them to achieve this attitude, because I know it from my own history that I had been very, yeah, maybe sometimes even grumpy. I wasn't very content. And the interesting thing is, after one of my speeches, one of the attendees approached me and he said, oh, when I've heard your speech, I really couldn't imagine that you hadn't been content for your whole life. And yes, it was like this. And so I really know what the journey is. And that's why I'm so eager, and that's why I'm so interested to support others on this journey to bring joy and fulfillment and peace and appreciation into their lives. And yes, it's some work. And at the same time, there's a saying that the thoughts in my head, they can always change direction. And when I start with this, and I also have another word for it, and it's thoughts hygiene. We also we take a shower to clear ourselves, to cleanse ourselves. And what do we do with our thoughts? Are we still thinking the same thoughts every day? And maybe also the ones being in a car, oh, why doesn't he pay attention? I think we all know these thoughts. Why don't I have an attitude as well, being in my car thinking, okay, maybe this person is thinking of a problem, I don't know what. So I always can change these thoughts, and that's really the key. And yeah, that's really what company owners can do to start with themselves, because company owners are also role models for their employees. And when company owners, when they arrive in the morning with a smile on their face and say, oh, good morning, how are you doing? What's going on today? And if they are really in contact with their employees, then they have a complete other atmosphere in their company.
Yeah, that's so true. It all starts with us. You mentioned it, and we are a role model as well for the people that surrounds us, can be employees, but also work environments when you work as a freelancer or you have business partners as well. And I love what you said. And I have I changed my thoughts into peace and love, because when I looked at your book title and there's this peace sign, and it's I have it in my mind now when I see you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I have another question, of course. What role do leaders play in fostering love and peace in the workplace, and how can they model these values effectively in for their teams? Yes.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much for mentioning my book. Um, yes, it's really, and if people, or when they read the book, they really get very easy instructions how they can change their way of communication. And this also relates to what you just asked about the teams. When I'm really in this attitude that I have a great team and that I really have the persons that I need and that each and every person can contribute to the whole of the company, yeah, then this is like, for example, successful sports teams. And we know that those teams have a coach at their side to be successful and to stay successful. And so team leaders in companies, they can do the same. And yeah, sometimes it's really important to have somebody at your side to really support you. And so that's what I do. I really love to work with international project teams and to also combine all these different qualities, especially in an international setting, because each culture has its own specialties. And normally we think, oh, that's crazy, but when I think, oh, that's interesting, I really would love to learn more about it, then it's a completely other attitude. And with this attitude, I can have much more different opinions and also ideas. So maybe an idea that I, as a German woman, maybe that's completely out of what I can imagine. And if there's a person from another country with another cultural background, they really have completely other ideas. And I know from you that you have been traveling the world, and so I think that you can relate to this, that when I meet people from other cultures, it's so inspiring and it's so, yeah, it gives me so much also joy of life. And so that's so important in teams to really welcome different mentalities. And for me, it's the role of the team leader to really kind of form a team that um, performs perfectly, or that performs in a very high on a very high level.
Wow, that sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing. I understand now the role of the leader, the team leader, or the company owner as well. People are watching the person at the head or at the top of the company, sometimes with admiration, sometimes with envy. Or, yeah, and we can work on the attitude, of course. It's about that. Thank you so much. I have another question. Guess what? Can you share a success story where a company implemented your strategies for creating a culture of appreciation and peace? And what were the key outcomes?
Yeah, so there are different stories that I could share. So it's really I started with the company owner because he was complaining about the bad mood of his staff in the office. And when I hear these things, it's kind of my eyes are going like this, like the ones of a rabbit becoming very, very big. And I started to ask him. And what I found out was that he kind of left decisions to his employees. And when it is what was about, for example, working hours, he said, "Oh, the team has to decide this on their own." So there was one person, that person was always late. Then there was another person who didn't take her lunch break, but he didn't say anything about it. And so the team tried to solve these problems. And this is so typical when the company leader, when he leaves a void, then the team tries to fill this void. And when he started to be clear what he wanted, then the whole company changed. And we also had team workshops where I had been working together with him and the whole team. And yeah, it's so important to really also have this, let's say, look from outside. And I have special team exercises with which I can get a better feeling for the team. And not only that I get a better feeling, but the team also recognizes how they communicate and or in at which in which paths they can also improve their communication. And that's another aspect where my book comes in. Very often I hear, oh, I've read your book and now I know how to address a topic. So, for example, what I'm very fond of is what I call I message or I statement. And so, for example, if my employee is late, then I don't tell the employee, you're late, but I tell the employee, oh, I realize it's already 9:05, and for me, it's really important that you show up at 9 because our customers are calling us at 9. And so please be in time tomorrow morning. And that's a completely other way to address things. And when I work with these I statements, people do not feel kind of hurt. And so with very simple ways, it's possible to change the communication. And another method that I really love a lot is in German we call them open questions. So it's questions they start with what, how, and so on. And very often I hear people, company leaders, and others, they are sitting like this: we can't do anything. And that's where these open questions come in. So, what can we do? How can this work? And this is also a change not only in attitude, but also in the way of communication. And in my book, I write about a lot of these, let's say, easy to apply communication tools to really change the atmosphere in a team and in the company.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And also for mentioning your book once again and sharing 2 exercises. And you know what? This is new. I created a book list, so to say, with all the books, the authors of my podcast guests. And you are episode 325. Please look up the list and share and get inspired by the books. The book title is The Peace Factor. I think it's in German language. The question for you, do you intend to publish it in English as well?
Yes, that's my next step.
Wow, this was a short answer to the question I did not ask, because I also would like to know more about your next goals, your intentions. Yes.
Yeah, as to the book, I can share it here. So if there's anybody who would like to be the publisher of my book in English, please just contact me. Yeah, my next step is really to bring it to another level with my speaking. I'm also working on my own.
Now it's gone. The sound is gone again.
It's once again. Just a second. I hope I'm back now.
Yes, perfect.
Sorry, it was once again my iPhone. Now I switched it completely off. I didn't take the time before. And that's also a very good example to really take the time to do things and not to think, okay, I'll do it half-heartedly. So I always learn with everything. Yeah, so back to your question. Yes, there are many things that I want to do to really make it accessible for even more persons. And in order to reach even a wider community, at present, I'm really very active to be invited much more often on stages, because I think that in this way I can inspire even more people. And you know what I really want to is to have more peace in this world. And so every morning I get up with this desire to inspire more people to have peace and to not say, oh, they have to make peace where they have war. No, to make peace with myself and to be content with who I am and with where I am, and to not beat up on myself. And so if I can reach a wider audience with this, I'm really convinced that this will contribute to a much bigger piece. And so this is really my goal, and everything else, like a podcast, like speeches and so on, that's, let's say, a medium how to do this. And so for me, everything is welcome where I can change this idea to really have more peace on this world. And I know that there are some very interesting initiatives, and I'm also part of one or two of these. And so I'm very confident that this will be possible, especially when we are looking for the times that are ahead for this time of transformation, where it will be crucial to have this atmosphere in companies so that companies will really survive.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I feel it in my heart. It's also one of my purposes, or let's say mission, to spread peace and to be the peace I want to see in the world. Of course, it starts with us. Thank you so much. I'm in. And my last question is always, when people reach out to you after listening to this episode, now it would be, how can they help you with? And we know it. You are ready to rock the stages with your message, also to be invited to other podcasts and to have a look at your next publisher. And please connect with Annette. I say Annette, it's Annette. And I know this name very, very well, by the way. I know someone with this name, and I can tell you later. Thank you so much for this episode. And now it's time for your last words. Thank you so much. I sent it back.
Yeah, thank you very much, Caroline. It was so great to be here with you, to talk with you. And that's really what I love, to be connected, as your platform is. And I mentioned it here. The connection came by Harry Sardinas, whom I appreciate a lot, and also Lily Patrascu. And that's, in my opinion, how it should be, that we know each other and that we connect to each other. And that's also how we can increase love and peace, not only in companies, but at this planet. But as I'm so very fond of supporting companies, I limit it to companies. And so thank you very much for having me here. Thank you very much for supporting me to spread this message, because I'm convinced that we'll all benefit from it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying yes, and see you in the next episode.